What's going on, everybody? It's your boy John. It's my boy Chris. Welcome to the show. COVID, hey?
It's been a year.
Fucking up pretty much everything.
Graphic designer, musician, creative, card enthusiast, chef, producer, magician, card enthusiast.
So since social distancing has been lifted, we thought it'd be a good idea to at least be safe, but be able to like hook up and do some filming on some card reviews slowly but surely. Over time, it'll be more and more episodes in the future. But we gotta play it safe right now, as
Always.
it is, right? Look, man, it's been funny. It's that COVID has happened, and so with social distancing and people staying at home, it's kind of funny that there's still like technically a shit ton of like different card releases, and they all were successful. One of which I'm actually very happy and very proud that actually worked out is the chocolate Fontaines, which I actually want to get into first. It's these guys right here. Since I support the Black Lives Movement, and as well as I love the idea of Fontaines, I've just never actually found a color pattern that was A, the price I want, because I never get on the releases, and B, it was a great opportunity to actually go invest in a deck where I think the color was very suiting to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the chocolate Fontaines, which I think is a kind of ironic thing. The owner of Fontaines even came out and said, yeah, it's a little bit ironic that he's going to release the chocolates during the Black Lives Movement one anyways, but this right here was I believe a 2018 or a 2019 cardistry release. There's 10,000 of them released during that period, sold out.
Yeah.
He did have, no, I think during that period there's like a 3,000 or 2,000 that were released, sold out. And then he had a reserve of like 7,000, so of which he sold for the movement, and all of that proceeds legitimately goes to the Black Lives Movement charities.
Which is awesome.
Which is, I commend them for going the distance and doing that. So this is the guy right here. Take a gander. It's very casino styling, which I really love about it, because to me the brown, it works for me. It's a color that fits, you know what I mean? Like I can pair with it as in any kind of style or any kind of look and image.
You know, I dig this color scheme always to me like kind of reminds me of the 70s. Just like, you know.
It actually very much reminds me of like 76, like exactly like you would expect like a biker to have, or like you would find it like at a bar.
Yeah, and like, I mean, like back in like the 70s, 60s, 70s, I would say probably. I mean, you had lots of these super warm colors like the browns, the reds, the oranges, right?
Yep.
That made up a large consistent of like anything in terms of branding, clothing, right? That kind of stuff is just, that color scheme is very classic to me in that time period.
Yeah, and I love it. So the reason I wanted to show you this right off the top was straight up, you like minimalism, right?
Always.
You know, my boy, he's a fan of minimalist designing, and I appreciate minimalist. It really just depends on how it's portrayed, you know what I mean? Like, depends. Again, for me, the most minimalist, I guess for you as well, would be the DOC, the deck of cards. As minimal and gorgeous as it gets. This is not that minimal. It won't, like, to me, the DOC was the absolute extreme, right? But this kind of crosses that, where it's like minimal, but it's almost like a knock or like a clean back design, but mixed with like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's very symmetrical, line heavy, but it's but again, once you see the back of the cards, it's gorgeous.
Let's crack into it. So I pulled out front face. We'll do the reveal. 3, 2, 1. Wham. Oh. Oh yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I was playing with that.
So the reveal was a little anticlimactic. But that being said, yeah, no, like this minimalism I super fuck with, because like of course you bring the F from the Fontaine into the deck, right? So it like from the back it's always recognizable.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, it's bi-directional, so you can use it in any form of sleight of hand or whatever.
Yep.
And like I said, very classic color combo for me. Brown is a very underutilized color, I feel.
Yes, and that's why I felt that this was for my like very first large scale Fontaines purchase.
Yeah.
this kind of suited it for me. This solidified it because chocolate, I love chocolate first and foremost, but
Yeah.
brown lends itself to be utilized and paired very well among any outfit you want to have or any type of styling, right? It's very
Yeah.
simple at the same time, very classic and classy.
And I feel like we've had this conversation in the past too, where it's like when you have something too flashy, it's like it almost detracts from what you're trying to do with it, just because it's like it's so in your face, right? But like these, I feel like would be super to the point.
Yeah.
In terms of practical application.
Absolutely. So just so you guys know, this is on the basic USPCC stock, same or similar to the bicycle stock of their premium brand. What I love about it too is that like with the size of the borders, it really allows for like that wicked kind of fan. It's like the spacing on it just allows for this good symmetry when you do fan outs and when you do any type of sleight of hand. At least allows for slips to happen very quickly and very easily. As well as like what I like is the control. It's just it still handles exactly like it should, right out of the box. It does take, I will say, after already previously opening and playing with the deck a little bit, my issue with it is that it does need a little bit of working in, right? It's definitely a cardistry deck because like some cardists like that grip, that weird cut right off the bat. For me, I gotta play with it,
Like
oil up
soften
the
up the
sides,
edges
yeah,
a
and
little
then
bit.
do a couple springs with it, just
Yeah.
bend the deck a little bit, yeah.
Kind of make it a little bit more flexible.
Absolutely.
No, that's fair. So, you know, as always, one thing that I would like to keep to do through every deck, of course, is the Ace of Spades. That's where all the flavors kept, right?
Absolutely.
That's the flavor saver of the whole deck. And I mean, here, super minimal, super classic. You know, we have the spade here with the Fontaine right across the front.
And this is actually true to all the Fontaines style. This is a very classic Fontaine's ace. What I love about it is that it's very like Hershey's. It's very streamlined, and the actual look of it is gorgeous. To me, it's very classic. It's very classy as well.
Yeah, no, and it's like, it keeps from being super, like, don't get me wrong, I love the Ace of Spades that have like amazing flourishes and like all this stuff, right? But like you said, this is a very classic look, very clean cut, right? And if it does hold to the Fontaine name, like, you know, what else can you say about it?
Yeah.
And they also have the same logo here on the tuck case as well.
Right.
Right on the lip here.
And again, this is very this whole tuck and this design is very reminiscent of very classic decks from like the 70s and 80s, right? Again, you would find this kind of styling on like things like Arcos and similar and classic old bicycles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jokers, which are duplicates, of course.
Yeah.
I know that's a big props up for you, right?
Yeah.
You do have the Fontaine F on there, right? And it just says Fontaine across the front. Very minimal, very...
Doesn't even have to say Joker.
No,
you know
it
they're
doesn't.
Jokers.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, this is how you do branding correctly,
Yes.
in my opinion, right? It's like
Yes.
you don't have to add extra stuff when it's like you've incorporated your branding into the actual practical cards that you use, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's even the better way to get your name out there, because it's like if you're using these cards all the time in your you know, tricks and stuff, then like this name is going to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very streamlined, very clean look. But what I like about it though is that, again, from a magician's standpoint, what's awesome is that like they left borders out from the thing, so they left it pretty clean. Same with like this, but the spacing is very you can still see the spacing is very dominant, right? Which means though technically, if you can do so you can do like a reverse fan, and it should be like I'm not doing it clean because this deck has been played with, but if you do it cleanly enough, you can actually just make it look like it's completely white.
Yeah.
Having this like type of border is actually very, very nice. That's interesting. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, please.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks.
That's nice.
I like having like all that negative space in there. I think it just makes it like it draws your eye into where you want it to get to, which is the Fontaine logo, right?
But it's it's almost classic in the way of like that's what really is appealing in terms of like on a white border or on a white back. Just very pops right in the center, no frills, right? Like just really classy right off the top.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about this. I'm sure if anybody wanted to fact check me in the comments, they could do so. I'm pretty sure Fontaine is a font, like a typeface family.
Okay.
And I wonder if it correlates to what they have actually used in. Like,
Definition of Fontaine will probably be right there.
There.
Hey.
But yeah, no, and then this is I'm assuming another another trick card for whatever purpose.
I don't
you
know.
make it.
Okay, look. So like, this is plain. It's the plain back, and then it has this is their gaff card or this is their ad card. I don't know. I have no idea unless they had like some way of like. There's got to be a way to incorporate this into into a routine. I mean, obviously, there's a couple ones that I can think of. Like Chicago Opener is definitely one of those.
Yeah.
It's just that. I mean, for me, this would be really good if I was like, I can use it as a joker if I had a duplicate of it.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I just. It's really cool though. It's just that like I have to use that for something else.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say about this, I don't necessarily like the color scheme of this one particular card. Just because it's almost got like a light pink border, or like not like it's like a darker like pink / salmon color.
Yes.
Mixed with the brown.
Salmon color for sure. Salmon weird sorbet.
Yeah.
Peach orange.
It's a weird kind of pinky color, and I don't really like how it complements the brown in this. Like if they had done like gold, brown, gold, because the hat in the center is gold, right? So if they did maybe like if they stuck to a cleaner palette, maybe I would enjoy it more. But as it stands right now, this is probably the only card that
Yeah.
like 100%.
And yeah, no, I have to agree because like first of all, I don't know what the point is of the salmon border.
Yeah.
Right. And if they were going to use that salmon border, they should have made it a little bit more like this. Could have been like a 3-dimensional card.
Yeah.
Technically, they could have done something to make it a little bit more magic friendly. At the same time, don't get me wrong. There's probably going to be people out there that are going to be like, oh, you can use it for this and that. I'm like, look, man. I'm not that good, and right now I currently am drawing a blank as to how to use that. If there is anybody that knows how to use that correctly or has a routine that can incorporate that, please leave that in the link below, for sure.
But yeah, that's about it for this one.
Okay, so like Fontaines, pretty much are pretty much standard right across the board. They're just a really clean premium cardstock, clean premium deck overall. Now here's the thing: $15 per deck. 15.
Okay.
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 You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And guaranteed it was like they did it at a run of 10,000. That could have been like a $10 or $12 deck, I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe that it's just running on brand status and hype status because Fontaines do sell. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Fontaines are really, really popular, and like especially among cardists, and like certain magicians love Fontaines. I know they use Fontaines in that Slight movie, blah blah blah, and they have a Slight edition of the Fontaine decks. My real issue is for the price value. You have all these great characteristics and little additions that really make it magician friendly.
Yeah.
Right out of the box. They don't need a double backer. At the same time, it came with a gaff that I can't use. Great looking box, great overall. Even the smell was great.
Yeah.
When I cracked it.
It smells like chocolate.
Yeah, but if you were to rate it best out of 10, what's your opinion? You want to go first, or you want me to do it? Because I just gave my critique, so yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, like for the price point, is it really something that's so special that I'd pay $15 for it?
Okay. Good. Also, I just want to point out, granted. The price point also, like all the proceeds go to the BLM movement. I don't know if 100% of the profits go there or the proceeds minus the production costs, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. There hasn't been that level of transparency yet, or if at all, from Fontaine playing cards. But with that being said, $15.
That's an extra factor. Okay. What I'll do is I'll give this deck a 7.5.
Ooh, yeah.
Because, like I said, I really like the back of the cards. I really like the simplicity of the design. That being said, besides that, it's all fairly standard, right? Like you said, there's a card in it that, to this point, we don't know what the practical application of it is, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I think 7.5 is...
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's 7.5, and you know what? Straight up, I'm gonna say as well. You know, I really enjoy the cards. Again, the Ace of Spades. It's one of my favorite things, but it could also, this kind of scheme could have been transcended a little bit into the colorway slightly with a little bit of black accents. In my opinion, there's a couple of changes to the chocolate, but regardless of that, this back design for me is money.
Yeah,
Like, for
no.
me, that's gorgeous. And with those things alone, I was going to score it a little bit lower, but I will say I'm going to say 7.5 as well.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a fair rating for this deck, right? Like, you know, they
100%.
they did do some creative things with it, and at the same time they knew where to hold back, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's about finding that balance of when to push, when to go forward, right? And also putting the right price point on it, right? And doing that kind of stuff. It all collaborates into the bigger thing, which is this deck of cards.
Yeah. And I think, though, cohesive deck of cards. So 7.5 plus 7.5, we got 15 in total out of 20, baby. I think that's a great points. I guess 15 for $15, right?
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I think that's a good rating for this kind of a deck, right? It doesn't hit entirely home and exactly in everything, but at the same time, it's not lacking.
Yeah.
A little bit of attention to detail, but it did lack in a few other assets as well. Like, you know, I still miss a little bit of customization, but I also believe that shit comes at a cost.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, but I guess we'll just wrap off this first review. Look, if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, or want to know where we got these cards from, you can check all that stuff in the description box below. You can check us out again on Instagram. Mine is John_Japanda. His is Ink_Alter on Instagram as well. And you can also catch me the same thing on Instagram. Thanks a lot for joining us. Again, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also, if you liked anything or you have any other questions, leave a comment down below in the comment section. So I'm your boy John. This is my boy Chris. Thanks a lot for joining us. This has been the Brown Fontaines. We'll catch you in a bit.